Well, Peter Dutton is in more comfortable territory today by pledging a $750 million tough-on-crime package. The AFP will be given more responsibilities in what is usually state-focused issues. Now, this comes ahead of a defence announcement that's expected sometime before Anzac Day this week. Joining us live now is the Senator Jacqui Lambie. Jacqui, it's good to see you today. So first, let's break this up. We'll talk about this police spend. Any complaints with that from what you can see so far?
Well, the AFP could always do with spend, especially putting more officers on the ground. There's no doubt about that. I mean, they're screaming for that. And we could actually look at giving them a decent pay rise. It's been a long time. They've been fighting for a decent pay rise for a long time. And I think that's the first thing that we can do. I love what he's doing with his social media. Going after the one percenters and saying that, that they will not be allowed to go on a platform on there and do what they've got to do. I think that's a great idea. Certainly give the backing for that. But, Pete, these guys had 9 years in. 9 years in only just 3 years ago, and they certainly weren't tackling crime that they should have been doing it. The problem is here, it is all about a change in a generation. It's all about early intervention. It's all about teaching kids critical thinking and how to say no and doing all that. And nobody's investing any money down there at that bottom scale to turn a generation around. So they have the courage to actually say no.
Well,
that's what we want, so they can see what's right and wrong. And that is the problem that you're having. Not enough magistrate courts out there and things like that. So as much as he's doing tough on crime, that's great. But we see this. This is always in the second week. It's tough on defence, tough on crime. You're running through the same narrative, and I think that's why people have switched off.
Or they just haven't engaged yet and they come on for the final week next week. So you mentioned defence there. This is expected to come up this week, some point before Anzac Day, we are being told. It's going to be a lift in expenditure by how much? Maybe 2.5% of GDP, but it won't be now. It'll be years down the track. What are you hoping the announcement, backing that it happens this week, what are you hoping that it contains?
Well, I certainly hope that it contains having a good look at what is going on with contract waste in there. That's the first thing. And also we are failing miserably to still hold our military members in there so they can continue service. That's the first thing. The second thing is people are not joining. And I think the biggest problem is there's a lot of people that want to continue to serve, Pete. And because they've been medically downgraded, they've been throwing out, and that's just such a waste of great resources. It doesn't matter if they can't run a 5K run in under 25 minutes. Nobody cares. But when you have those expertise, whether you're missing an arm and leg, and if those members want to continue to serve, they're the ones that we need to maintain because they are going to be the mentors for the future. And they are so far off this. It is a mess in defence. I will be coming with a Senate inquiry, and I won't be holding back. And I think it's about time all this was on the table. Our Defence Force is in critical need for drastic improvement really quickly. And that goes on equipment and also what's going on with the leadership in there.
Numbers as well.
It's on the open.
Need more recruits, right? We don't have enough.
Yeah, we need more recruits. It's not getting it. We're paying $1 billion contract out there, mate, and it's not working. We've got some real problems out there. I know the unemployment rate is low, but seriously, it's also keeping our own because it costs you taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars to train us each year and keep us trained. Now, just because we're not medically fit at Med Class 1, we are still very, very valuable with, with what we've been taught, with the tools that you've provided us out of that money. And therefore, we should be concentrating a lot more on making sure we keep those members in and looking after them well. That'd be a great start.
All right, well, let's close out of the polls because it's another bad one for the Coalition today on the whole. The primary vote for the Coalition is now lower than what it was 3 years ago when they held the review, they did all of that, but now we're going backwards from that, or they're going backwards. Talk about a turnaround from just a few months ago. Why do you think that is? Or do you think it's really that bad on the streets, away from the polls?
I think there is a lot of people out there very disengaged. It's not just with the Coalition,
right,
I can assure you now. And I think people are just going to keep it in the safe zone and more than likely they'll get another 3 years. So, but what you won't see out of Peter Dutton is he won't be slackening off. He'll be out there fighting all the way. And you've got to give him an applause. So it's not over yet. Pete would know that, and he'll keep fighting all the way. And I think that's great leadership with Pete continuing out there and still selling his message and doing what he's got to do, mate.
All right, Jacqui Lambie, we'll leave it there. Thank you. We'll chat again next week.